I decided to use Turnitin for learning and teaching, mainly because in the business school we had a large number of international students who were not familiar with referencing, come from different backgrounds of using reference sources in their assignment work, and were really falling into the trap of plagiarism without any proper help to practical help to be able to solve the problem. The idea for using Turnitin with the students was so that they would submit drafts of their work, their assignment work, and be able to see the percentage match with published sources, and then learn for themselves that they needed to check their work, whether they'd referenced it correctly, had they put inverted commas in the right places for quotations, and had they made enough effort to write the work, write the source material in their own words. Some of the main challenges when I started using Turnitin was making sure that all the students were registered using the VLE. In the first stages we were using direct registration with the Turnitin itself, but then when we started using the VLE Blackboard and then with Moodle, it became so much easier for the students to get registered. So there was minimum challenges using the IT infrastructure. The biggest challenges perhaps for the students was trying to reassure them that the mechanism of using Turnitin was not to catch them out, but more to be used as a learning tool. And there was a little problem with the students finding that they were panicking a little bit because the percentage match was too high sometimes, and you had to reassure them then about how it was helping them to help them with their reference. Well, the advantages of using Turnitin is, for students, is like any other exercise that you might do. If you were going to learn to drive a car, yes, you can watch a video, but until you do it yourself, you don't really understand the process. And yes, you can give lectures to students on referencing and plagiarism, but it's until they do it themselves they really see the advantages and learn for themselves that they need to think more carefully about the referencing and using source material more correctly. Some of the key points for effective practice involve making sure that the students have full presentation beforehand, before they use it, so that they understand why they're using it and the background to interpreting an originality report. Sometimes the originality report can be a little confusing, and you need to make sure that the students have had examples and can see exactly the pitfalls that they can fall into, so that they understand the background to why they're using the software. There are also problems sometimes with students not getting the report back as promptly as they would like. Turnitin has had problems with delays with the reports, especially when times are busy. And we have found that separating the main assignment from the revision assignments has helped with this, because if you have a final assignment where the students just submit once, and that's linked to drafts where they can submit as many times as they like, then the drafts do not have any interference with the final submission on the correct deadline. So the draft version and the final version has worked well for us. Turnitin has been effective for the business school because it has really helped with our international students. When students arrive in the UK, particularly postgraduate students and third year undergraduate students who are joining the programme, They've had experience of referencing, but not using Harvard referencing in the manner that British universities are familiar with. And it's really helped them to understand how to undertake referencing correctly, making sure they include the references in their text, and by seeing for themselves the percentage match with the published sources, it has helped them think about rewriting the material in their own words. And that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create students who are able to use source material correctly in assignments and be able to use the business examples effectively without the copy and paste from the internet, and expressing it using their own words and adding the business examples. For other institutions that want to use Turnitin, I would really recommend using the revision assignments as a diagnostic tool to support students in their written assignment work, as well as using the final submission. Some universities have mixed opinions on whether you should allow students to submit drafts of the assignments as many times as they wish, and it is possible, of course, to restrict the number of drafts that students are able to submit. So that might be a discussion that you need to have yourselves within your own university. But the use of Turnitin also has other facilities, especially as it's been enhanced in the last few years, with GradeMark, which is the online marking facility, and also PeerMark, which enables students to mark each other's work. Now, I've not used PeerMark, but GradeMark is something I've recently used, and I can see that that has great advantages to be able to give students very detailed feedback and provide the lecturers with quite an easy route to be able to mark high volumes of scripts with quite good quality feedback. I think when one is setting up the entry points for Turnitin, it is useful if it's done by the same person. There is a number of choices of options that you can choose when setting up the Turnitin submissions, and it's important that students get a consistent message, a consistent setup of options, and having one person, maybe a programme leader or a programme administrator, to set up the submissions for the whole programme presents a consistent message and a consistent set of options for the students to be able to utilise and become familiar with.